Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I think I moved the camera, that's all right. So this video I want to talk about some of the good things that are happening in my life right now. So because of the choices that I'm making, I'm seeing some really positive things play out. And so because I've decided to rest and recover instead of rush back into the 9 to 5, I'm getting a lot of answers and clarity, but I'm also I don't know if you've been watching my channel, I can't remember. Sometimes I don't post a video, or sometimes it's like too long and it feels all over the place. So I feel like people aren't going to listen to it. So I don't post it. But there was a point where I'm going to make a video about like how I transitioned through healing from my childhood trauma. If that would be, I think it would be helpful for people. I don't know, but I mean, I might as well do it. And so part of the rest process is returning back to like joy and a lighter place in life after I've been through such heavy lessons. And one of these things is I've met a woman, and I didn't know she was deaf. And so the other day, it's interesting because I've been watching this other lady on YouTube where she communicates through sign language while she talks about her experiences with her deaf son, who is 5, and trying to teach the younger brother and just like life, and the challenges and just whatever. And so I really enjoyed watching her content, and it's interesting how she just does it as she goes. And so it's been inspiring, but I never actually like went into action of learning sign language. I was just watching her, and I don't know if I really picked up on much because I wasn't actually doing it, but I was enjoying it. So it started there, but then I had a neighbor who I met this weekend, and she was appreciating my garden, and she was trying to express, the hard work that she's seen me do, and she loves what I've been doing. She loves the sunflowers. The sunflowers are a big hit. I didn't plant them. They just planted from the previous, like, I had started planting like maybe 6 to 8 sunflowers along my fence, and now there's a whole garden of them. And the thing is, I didn't plant them; they're just seeds that I let grow. I usually till in the spring or in the fall and the spring, and then like I'll plant stuff, but I'll let stuff just grow because I'm like, I know that's like a sunflower. I know that's a zucchini, or like there's some seeds that look all the same. So I'm like, well, let's just see what comes up. And it turned out I had a field of sunflowers, and so it kind of formed around my deck, and so I just let them grow. And so she was expressing that, and I'm like, oh, okay. And she had made a gesture like, she can't hear, I guess, right? And so I was just trying to communicate with my own hand gestures to try to, draw attention to certain things so we could express our messages, right? And she was doing the same. And so last night, after this had happened, I went on and I watched a YouTube video, and I had actually learned sign language when I was younger. So it's interesting because I picked it up really fast, and I'm going to show you. So I learned the alphabet last night for sign language. So it's A, B, C, D. I don't know if you hold your hand like that or if we just do it like that. E, F, G, H, I, J, K, K, L, M, N, O, P, P. So I don't know, because it feels awkward to hold my hand like that. So if anyone knows, like, how do I do that so they see it? Maybe they just know by seeing it like that. I don't know. P. Oh wait, P. Oh, this is, I get stuck on Q. Hold on. P. Q, R, S, wait, Q, R, S, T, no, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. And I learned, and so I refreshed with, and then I Googled sign language alphabet, because like that's the beginning. Cause so like you can spell out the item or the word if you don't know it right yet, right? So I learned hello, nice to meet you. So and then I also learned sign. I learned name, because people that are deaf, they have like your sign name. I learned that from the YouTube channel that I was watching with this mom, and so they'll assign you like your sign name. Like I've only talked to her once, in in any sort of depth, but so like we're not there yet. But I told her my name yesterday, and she told me hers, and she was able to verbalize some of it, right? Uh, and and then I tried to speak slower so that she could understand what I was saying, and so we had communication. And so it's interesting because like when I have situations like that, it's interesting how the people of your past really made it hard to communicate when I'm like literally communicating with someone who is deaf, and we're figuring it out between the two of us. So if you want to, you will, right? And so like now I'm excited because I'm like, okay, I can actually now I really want to learn, because it was so, I was just like, this could be easier. This could be easier. And so like if I can learn sign language, then I can make our communication that much easier, right? And now, it's not. And she was totally patient, and I was patient, and we were both patient together, and we figured it out together. And so there's people in your life where you're gonna feel like that, where they're not gonna make it hard to love you, they're not gonna make it hard to understand you, and they're not gonna make it. And well, I just met her and she's a stranger. It's just these kind of things. It was just like, wow, like not only was it was easy for her to compliment and recognize the hard work that I've done in my yard. I don't know her. She doesn't, I've seen her walk around this area, but at the same time, like it wasn't hard for her to give me a compliment. And, she was willing to hang in there and like communicate, and we could figure it out. And so it was like we mirrored each other's, I can figure this out. If you're willing to work on it, so am I. I have not experienced that in my family, other than my kids, and any adults, any real adults, which is strange, right? And it's not because I haven't wanted to. It's almost because I've been overly catering to toxic people, and so it's so fun to have this experience the other day. And then I was like learning it. I'm like, oh my god! So I thought I'd test myself. And then I have like that cheat sheet that I took a screenshot on my phone. So like when I forget one of those letters, then I have something to go back on, and I'm gonna remember. I'm like, okay, that I get caught up on that thing, so I have to be aware of that. And I think you can also apply that to life. Like I know when I was first healing, like jealousy was a huge thing with my partners, and so I had to work on why I was feeling jealous. And so that's kind of where I started my healing journey as well. Was like, why do I feel jealous? Well, I feel like they might like that person better than me. So what does she have that I don't have? And I would develop that within myself to the point where now I'm like, you know what? It's so interesting because some of the things that I thought were important in the people that my exes were attracted to, I realized that is not something like I want to focus on. I don't want to win a popularity contest. I don't want to go out and be surrounded by tons of people. I don't want to be associated with a certain community based on very superficial status symbols. And so it's interesting when it started there, but it ended up really, now I'm doing things that I love. And like one of them is gardening. And at first I used to be really hard on myself because I'm like, oh my God, like, I feel like I'm a bit obsessed at times, but it is a passion. I do have to watch out because I have a tendency to bite off more than I can chew and create overwhelm, right? But for this time, I'll do a video actually maybe tomorrow about what I've done with the garden, because I did have one previously. I don't know if many people watched it, but an update on what I've been doing, because I had a lot of like confusion and chaos amongst the yard, and I didn't know how I was going to use the space. And I've gotten some clarity, like in trying to grow vegetables and fruits and stuff. I realized I need more space and more, because like if I don't want to just grow it as a hobby. I want to eat my food from my garden, right? And so when you actually get into the action of things, you realize, like, if I want to grow tomatoes so I can have access to the benefits of tomatoes all throughout the year, then I need more tomatoes. And if I want to have strawberries, And I love the strawberries from the garden, and I love eating them from the from the plant in the summer, but I also want to have like some sauces and things, and I have recipes that don't involve sugar. Then I need more strawberries and raspberries, and I'm like, I have so much grass and I hate cutting the grass. And so like I have had to like time my expansion because like the work involved, like I'm learning how to manage the weeds and like what works better. Like I've had mulch, but the mulch didn't work with the weeds. But I also realized the dirt underneath the mulch needed more aeration and nutrition, which the mulch can add to. But at the same time, like there's other things that I can do to improve that as well. And so yeah, it's just like and then I've also used what's happening in my garden, and I can see how it's affecting me in my life as well, and kind of mirror that. So it's interesting. A lot of things that are happening, and the fact that I can remember these sign languages, like yes, I learned it when I was way back when, but I haven't, like I'm not like with the mom on YouTube, like she's doing it so fast that I'm not really picking up. She'll do some messages and things like that, like thank you and like things like that are kind of more basic, but a lot of it she's like doing it so fast, and I don't know, I'm not picking up from that. That's inspiring me, but I'm not learning exactly a lot from that. So I had to do it at my own pace, but I picked it up quite, I think, quickly overnight. So now at least when I see her, I can at least try to sign out like what I'm trying to say. And in the meantime, I'm still going to learn like, you know, hello, nice to meet you. And, you know, things like that I can learn, and different sayings like, you know, I learned the word what. It's like this. And you have to do like, you know, include your facial expression, you know, as a question, like, what's your favorite plant? You know, I can do things like that. So I could say, what's your, no, I see, this is where I'm confused. You gotta, it's, there's a different, your, and then I don't know the word favorite. So I'd have to either sign that out or learn the sign for the word favorite, and then plant, and either sign it out alphabetically or learn the sign for it, and then you do what at the end. So there are some like different tricks to like the sign language as opposed to like the English language. So I'm learning that, and just the fact that I'm picking up some stuff. So another thing I'm learning, guys, is like, so when you work on moving from your emotional mind to more like your logical, and then you balance out kind of in the middle, what I've been working on is I've been playing these games, and they're like color block, one is called, and then they're like puzzles. And I realized I really enjoy puzzles. And so, you know, sometimes when I get lonely, I feel like I'm missing out in life and I'm just not having fun. But it's like I couldn't find things that were fun. But when I started playing these games, I'm like, I really enjoy puzzles and those kind of challenges, and it really gets my mind working as well. And it shows me how I react when I get stuck on something. And then it's the benefit of it as well. As like some of these puzzles, I'm like, this one's really freaking hard, but I never give up. I sometimes take a rest, and then I get back at it, and then I do find an answer. And that is who I am. That is what I am doing. That's who I've always been. But I've had a lot of like things placed on me since a child that has really pushed me away from my true authentic self. And so it's fun when you start really shining through the abuse that was meant to suppress you and start elevating and growing past it. And so I definitely feel like I'm pushing past some previous barriers that I've had, and it's definitely put me in more of a enjoyable headspace and a less anxious space. And it's helping me playing those games. I remember I played a video game previously, and it was I would play with my son, and it's they would have like coins involved. And so I remember at the time I was having trouble with budgeting, and I'm like, well, how do I budget if I don't have any money? You know, how do I get out of this impulsive spending? And so I had coins, and so my mind, I was like, I'm gonna try, because it was, you know, you could elevate your character through coins by buying up your power, if that makes sense, like leveling up your power through coins. And so I said, no, I'm gonna, you know what, my my aim is not good. You know, my son was like saying that same thing. I was like, Mom, like your aiming sucks. And I had strategy. I was good at strategizing. Like I would tell him to go around the other side, and I'll meet you on the other side and we'll get him. And so like I'm good at that kind of strategy, but my aim was not good. And so I want one of those Xbox controllers, because I think I can play the game on my laptop. And it is, I bought a gaming laptop previously, because I wanted to download my YouTube videos on it and make it faster to download. That's my brain and how I was thinking. And I haven't used it for that. But now I want to get one of those remotes so I can like play the game, because I feel like when I play it on the phone, I'm covering up so much screen, and I feel like it would be better, I think, for my aim. And anyways, so that game involved coins, and so a lot of people, I feel like, either are bots, they either have the money to, like, at this time, like, they've done the work, but some people also just have a credit card where they can just buy and level up so fast, so like their damage is higher, their life is higher, their recovery is faster, and I didn't have that. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna not buy up these things. I'm gonna try to save my money as much as I could. And so, like, I know it sounds silly, but when you don't have money, that was a way that I could control my impulsiveness to want to just like buy something and spend something. I know it sounds weird, but these are the kind of tricks and tools that I use in life where I don't actually have money at the time to manage. It was helping me, like, save it when I wanted to spend it, and when I felt like I was disempowered and people were, kicking my ass. That patience and that saving really did help develop something within me. And now I'm finding the same thing when I play these puzzles. It really does kind of mirror like challenges that I have in life, just personal challenges, like, and just skills that I'm trying to learn, like computers, or just stuff like that that you come across that is challenging when you're running, when you have the ideas of running a business, or becoming even more independent and becoming successful. Like, there's all these things that are going to happen, and so I find these puzzles are not only fun, but it's a fun challenge without the sort of like trauma of the stress of leveling up in front of people and them like targeting you. Um, and so it's bringing not only joy back into my life, but I notice my brain is starting to work again. And it's weird because before I wouldn't have the patience, and I would just need to zone out from the TV. And if you told me to sit down and play this puzzle, I'd be like, I wouldn't be interested, because I just had too many other things that needed my attention. And so sometimes that procrastination can be because I don't have time for fun right now, because I really do have other things that require my time and attention. And you do get to the joy and the fun later. And so if you don't feel like it, don't do it. If there's something else, ask yourself, what would I rather be doing? And sometimes it is still just rest. As boring as it sounds, sometimes you still need that nap. Sometimes you just need to lay on that couch in the quiet. Sometimes you just don't think you need that much rest. But when you've been doing this for all of your life, think of how many hours you've worked in your life, how many things you've been doing for other people, how many things you've had to do for yourself. Like, this adds up. And so that rest to work ratio is out of balance, and that can also be because your nervous system is shot, because you've been doing it for the wrong reasons, for the wrong people, and receiving nothing in return. And then you're still doing something over and over and over and over and over again, and not getting any sort of like elevation or reciprocation. And so those things, when I stopped doing those things, and I gave myself the pause, and I rested, and I recovered. This is some of the benefits I'm starting to see now. It was hard to see it before because it wasn't, really accumulating, if that makes sense. But the more I do this, the better I get at it, and the better I get at it, the less emotional I am, and the more logic I have, and more lessons turn into blessings. And the blessings don't necessarily show up as like, the things that you want right now, but like, this is part of the path that you have to walk. So it is a step that you have to take, and it is a process you have to experience, and it is part of the puzzle and the process. And so this is just how I try to make it more fun, I guess. Some people, might want something else, but like, this for me is how I'm getting to where I'm going, and hopefully that helps. But yeah, so I'm starting to see, I've seen results previously, and they just don't kind of, stay above water, if that makes sense. And so, we still have challenges. I'm still going to have challenges. It's still going to be dark days at times. But I think when you can start to see things happening for you more than happening against you, and some people will take this as, a time to target me. And I honestly hope they do, because anytime someone targets me, it's like they think that you haven't experienced them before. And I just use it for research, like ground research. So anytime someone targets me, I eat that, and I devour it, and I digest it, and I use it for fuel. And so in the meantime, in the past, I couldn't see it like that. I mean, I could, but I could only see it temporary like that. But now I really see things are working out for me, and I'm doing the work, and people are really starting to see it, even if it's on a small scale. It's being seen, and so you just got to keep going. And if that means rest, and it definitely will mean rest, just rest. And I do have more information on how I do my rest, but I'll probably wait a little bit later before I share the details on that. I might do a Patreon on that, because like I do know some people are still watching me on this channel that don't have good intentions, and they're just copycats, and they're looking for something to say. So people will listen to them, and that I'm not going to let that stop me from sharing my information. But I think I'm going to wait a little bit longer before I share more details on how I'm getting to where I'm going. And if you're interested in doing a coaching session or a question session, that's there. The options are there. It's in my channel description box, not the video, but like I put it in the. I just haven't been putting the description things back in, but I might start doing that. But you can find it in my channel description if you're interested in that. So yeah, so those are the good things that are happening. I've had some weird stuff happen on the weekend, but I've had some really good stuff happening on the weekend. I'm getting my muscle back. It's slow. It's very slow. I feel like I can't share that stuff exactly how I did everything yet, because I haven't gotten to that place yet. I still kind of wait until I can have the best information for you guys, so that there are some things where I still trial and error it, and I realize, nope, that's still the same. Nope, I still can't do that. Nope, I still can't have that. Doesn't matter what I do. I do believe trauma can affect like your digestion and what you can digest, and so I'm still trying to figure out like, I tried out the A2 dairy because that's available close to us, and I thought maybe that might be a different experience in digestion. And although it didn't cause the bloating so much, it still does have the lactose as sugar, and so I still believe I'm still insulin resistant, and that is taking longer than I anticipated to heal. And so I do believe the more I engage my muscles, that but it's going to take longer than I anticipated, which is kind of like the whole thing of healing. And I think that's what also is tied into my previous videos, is like the motivation of why you don't let these people back in, or you don't let them in, and you don't make excuses, and you don't you don't need to focus on anyone else but yourself until you get to that level of security and safety. And it's not just saying like I'm not safe and secure right now, but like I do believe there is a certain tier or foundation that I want to reach before I can really kind of, it's not even like I'm ever going to let my guard down, but share more of myself, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully this is inspiring to you, to let you know that I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was younger. I believe it was trauma brain. I definitely believe that that ADHD is attached to too many responsibilities that are not yours, and living life according to someone else's page. Is it page book? Playbook, when in reality they were never winning in the first place. And so when I took my power back and started making decisions that a lot of people don't make, that's when I started to see results. And a lot of people don't like those results because they're not willing to do them. And so you have to be your own advocate. You have to make those choices for yourself. I can tell you about my experiences. I can tell you what I'm seeing along the way when I do what I do. And I hope that's helpful, but you're ultimately going to be the one making those choices and decisions and taking the action. So hopefully this is helpful. I don't like sharing all the weird, creepy stories that I experienced, but I think all of this is part of, learning and growing. And so I thought it was important to share some of the good stuff. And I'm not going to do it tonight because it's getting dark out, but I'll probably do like a garden tour to show you where I'm at. I'm still not finished, but I can show you where I'm at. And yeah, that's all I got. Hopefully this is enjoyable for you to watch, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.